So at this stage of the struggle, I come again for can recap, and I come again for can put things then back into square order. The order, because La Republique, you don't create disorder. There are so many people in the bushes, wa mommy them, wa papa them, everybody is asleep for bush as we speak right now. As we speak right now, Francophone them, Francofrogs, where they do for La Republique, they sleep in their homes, and while we are sleeping in bushes. As we sleep now, so Francophone them, their grandmammy, they sleep for their beds, while one mommy, they don't born them for village, and their bone, they stick out like maggots. So at the end of the day, I'll be very willing for do things the way they do exactly to we. And the things the way go do like the things the way La Republique do for we, I made it feel the pinch. Because things the way go talk for this particular edition, make any money take a pen, you know, write them down. And that is how exactly all the groups will operate. It is no longer a point of being a victim and reporting ourselves as victims. It is reporting our actions that we are doing, and that will make us very strong. And because we report our actions, so let everybody pay a keen attention to exactly things that we do, because the things that we do we go favor everybody in the Republic of Amazonia, the newest country in the world. I don't come again for some place for America. I say make I can see some of my brother where you don't help people then for Cameroon. We'll go join after in the next few, maybe 30 minutes from now. But before now, I get to talk some issues then where you don't plague the struggle. Another issues then way if we talk it go put everybody back to rail. General, now my way it be for all sides, and a general for the struggle. No two general not the struggle, now only General Ivo is there for the struggle. And me, I need the fearman in face, and because of that, Mr. Paul Biya Bartholomew being Vondo, that lunatic, that critic, that stupid idiot, where he there for La Republique, he go block me for Twitter, say I caution too much. And he no end for there. Just a few minutes later, they go report again for their CELCOM. That means for communications department for presidency, say me they block me from Twitter. So ye block me when I don't see evidence how he block me. And that means ye the shame, ye the fear. Because all the things they wouldn't do and so far, it cripple ye, and that is a sign of defeat. And because it is a sign of defeat, I know never knows a dictator, a lunatic can be very afraid of his own people. And that clearly shows you that we are winning point number one. If you guys continue doing what you're doing, we shall even win fatly. The only thing is just to follow the rules, follow the order, because we shall burn the system that bends the rules. We are setting new rules. So at this point of the struggle, I want to encourage everybody to watch, share the video, share, and let the people know. And just to let you know, this week, we will start this week on a very, very important footing. North Korea dictator and lunatic, Mr. Kim Jong-un, lunatic as described by the West, but a great man as described by Africa. He met for the very first time in a historic visit in the 21st century and even in the 20th century for the very first time. This is one of the most historical visits and the most historical meeting between Mr. Kim and Mr. Moon. That means a North Korean leader where he get all kind of nuclear weapons, described in the West as a lunatic and as a pig. He humbled himself to go and meet South Korean leader where he never get a single nuclear weapon, but he didn't rely the free ride on the West for protection and security and survival. So for the first time, that criminal, as described by the West, he humbled himself to meet Mr. Moon. And this is a big lesson to anyone who calls himself Lion Man. The Lion Man in it today should copy the lesson from Little Rocket Man. The Rocket Man in North Korea could humble himself despite all the atrocities he's committed, despite launching several chemical attacks or nuclear weapons or nuclear tests and all of those things. Despite having its citizens suffer in pain and penury, he could humble himself still and go and meet for peace. And Mr. Biya, we don't even get a single nuclear weapon, he don't even get bullet in his guns, wants to prove very, very tough. We shall kill Mr. Biya, the lunatic who has been killing our women and children. In fact, we shall eliminate anything called the Little Lion Man. We are the lion people of Amazonia, and we are the people who have resolved to show our faces to the public and to put our names, our real names in the line of attack so that we can defend our women and children. At this stage, I am not afraid to announce and fully declare that part of the revolutionary groups on the ground, we own it. The Red Dragons are under my command. The Red Dragons are under my command, me, the general. So we are not afraid at this stage because our women and children have been killed. Mark Barretta's mother was recently kidnapped by the La Republique military. And so if they are kidnapping our people, therefore we have to be very open, we have to be straightforward, and we have to come out and show our faces. I want to take some time off for appreciate everybody where they're on the program and for appreciate the people where for the past 30 days they don't hold the struggle afloat. That means that the struggle, it never sink, the struggle, it don't work out for before. I want to start by congratulating every social media blogger, the ones that way they not be engaged in attack, IG versus AGC. This one versus that, I congratulate you. I want to congratulate Akosom Pauline, congratulate Mark Barata. Yannick Sikot, my very good friend and brother, I want to congratulate you. I want to congratulate even those ladies who are very much keen on the struggle, Mami Jera and the rest. You guys kept the struggle very alive and afloat for the past 30 days. And that is exactly the spirit we need. We don't need people who shall put AGC versus IG. We don't need people who shall put money versus politics. We don't need people who shall put revolution versus politics. This struggle is revolutionary. This struggle is not political. You cannot play politics in a revolution, neither can you play a revolution in politics. And this is exactly where we're heading to. This is a guerrilla warfare. You, Unasabi, say this will get unconventional tactics. That means that we launch with guerrilla attacks, hit and run, and right now it is not even hit and run, it is hit and stay. Because we have occupied and we have successfully occupied large swaths of land, hectares of land in Belo. We have successfully pushed back the La Republique military, or terrorists rather. The Ambazonian military have successfully pushed back the La Republique terrorists in Belo. That means Belo is fully under our control. Congratulations to those fighters in Belo. Congratulations. We have successfully made Le BLM completely ungovernable. In fact, the Red Dragons, my Red Dragons, have successfully made La BLM completely ungovernable. From Moklete to Mokmbin to Mokfosmondi to Alo to every other part of Le BLM, we are in full control. We have successfully made other places like Manio completely ungovernable, thanks to the Red Tigers and thanks to any group that is fighting in Manio, the ARA, Ambazonia Republican Army. Thank you very much for that. We have successfully made other peripheral regions completely ungovernable. And that means we are closing very fast. And we are closing very, very fast towards Boya. When some people say Boya, they mean we are going there for a CPDM rally. No, the Boya we're going there is to celebrate the independence of Ambazonia, the newest Ambazonia, the newest African country in the world. Ambazonia has 3 neighbors, just to let you know. The first, we have a very crooked neighbor to the east, which is called La Republique du Cameroon. To the south, we have Equatorial Guinea, which is an oil-rich state. And to the west, we have Nigeria, which is another crooked collaborator to La Republique du Cameroon. So Ambazonia is the newest country in Africa, and we have our anthem. We have our citizens in the diaspora, and those citizens are responsible for engaging communities to fight terrorism. We are engaging in counter-terrorism actions, and that counter-terrorism action shall see our women and children completely free. We have successfully rolled out a plan to push forth our independence this particular year, and again, to bring victory in the month of rainy seasons, or in the rainy seasonal months. The month of rainy season shall be a very decisive month, perhaps because our people are very much good at fighting in the rain, but above all, because we shall take control over the roads, we shall launch guerrilla tactics, and we completely master our weather and our terrain. The month of rainy season has been a very decisive month ever since the start of April. Una sabia, una don't see trucks, they don't already fall for inside bridges, and we shall burn the bridges. Why are we burning the bridges, and why am I calling for the burning of the bridges at this stage? I'm calling for the burning of the bridges at this stage because we no longer have cars. We cannot continue to run cars when our women and girls are sleeping in bushes and they don't even have medical supplies. It is better we use the road tracks, we use the bushes, we use those tracks than using the roads. We cannot continue to live in bushes and those terrorists are using our roads. Therefore, we must block all the roads starting from any angle in the world. We must block all the roads into and out of Ambazonia. From Manfe to Lebialem, from Ekok to Batibo, from everywhere to Nkambe, we must block all the roads. We have all things on the road. In fact, Operation One Thing on the road. Block all the roads completely, because that is what they use to mobilize quickly, and that is what they use as rapid intervention to kill our women and children. Our women and children are all in bushes, and this is how they operate. They quickly use our roads and go to where the bushes are and use the tracks and follow our women and shoot them. When I don't see how they don't shoot boys them for their backhead, they don't shoot boy them for their skull, they don't shoot boy them even for their chest, directly in their heart, which means it's not even a sniper job, it is something at a point blank range. In fact, we are documenting all of these atrocities and we shall kill those terrorists. At this stage, you must be very proud of the Ambazonia military, completely proud of the Ambazonia military, because never in the world have we had a set of uncoordinated boys becoming more coordinated. We are aware of some of the dubious tactics some of the groups in this struggle are doing to sabotage the order. What they said about Ayabacho and one other person in Norway is completely a fallacy. It's completely false, and we know the group that is responsible for that kind of stage. That was a staged action, and no group should engage in that hence, because we will be very bold to call the name of the person who did that particular stupid action. You will not pay boys to come and stand and ridicule another leader in a bush. You will not pay boys to come and stand and ridicule another leader who is even funding the struggle and supporting the struggle to the best of his capability. We know exactly who did that action, and that person hails from Lebialem. I don't want to call the name, but I'm giving you the last order, that if you don't restrain from engaging in such dubious actions, I shall put you in a square peg. And that is exactly because you have a round head, and I shall put your head in that square peg. Never again should that repeat itself. Don't go and pay boys to come and stand, do videos in bushes to ridicule another leader. I would not accept that, and I, as a general, will take full responsibility towards your actions. And at this stage, no other leader should engage in actions that will sabotage another. Instead of the boys doing videos to show that they have killed terrorists, they are doing videos instead to show that they want to bring down a leader, because the leader is successfully rallying the masses on the ground and successfully doing his own part to engage in defensive tactics and offensive tactics that will push back the terrorists. At this stage, I don't want to see any defense group on the ground. On the ground, I mean on the ground. No defense group under the general. In as much as I own the Red Dragons, I am also the general of every other group in Ambazonia fighting for the liberation of our women and children. No group on the ground must, at this stage, do any video criticizing another leader. Red Dragons and the rest, you are all on track. And I want to tell everybody that if you do any video criticizing another leader, you get it very hot. And you will be immediately arrested, because we have devices that can detect your voices, and we have devices that can map your location. And you shall be immediately arrested. This struggle is not a struggle to joke with, because our women and girls have been killed, our children have been killed, and we've seen the grandmother in Kwakwa whose bones were sticking out like a rabbit. At this stage of the struggle, my friends, brothers, sisters, fighters on the ground, let me send a patriotic salute to everybody. In fact, even though I own the Red Dragons, but I must congratulate the Tigers, rather, for the good work they've been doing, especially even in Moyuka. We had an attack in a few days, in the last 2 or 3 days. The boys in Moyuka simply went to a GBHS school, one terrorist school, where they're forcing kids to appear in school to extort money from them. They were searching for the principal, why a female teacher went out behind the class and she wanted to call the rapid intervention terrorists to intervene. And that is where she was killed. And that is why she was killed, because she was collaborating with terrorists. She was not killed for any other reason, but she was killed because she was collaborating with terrorists. And that is exactly why the bees killed her, because she was leaking out the secret And the Ambazonia boys were closing to get the phone number of the phone of this particular terrorist lady. And if we got that phone, we could have had several leads into where these criminals are hiding. So when the bees appeared, the rapid intervention terrorists, when they appeared, they shot this lady to kill the evidence. And anyways, that works to our favor. Any principal who is currently running any school in Ambazonia should know that you're doing so against all odds. You're doing so against the will of the people, and you're doing so against the will of the children who are sleeping in bushes and who are not privileged to go to school. We are doing so against the young soldiers who are sleeping in bushes and who are very worried and weary about their future. So all schools must be immediately shut down. I am ordering the shutting down of every school in the Republic of Ambazonia until future decisions are taken. I'm ordering the shutdown of every drinking parlor in the Republic of Ambazonia until the people come to sanity and until peace reign. In fact, if you're running a beer parlor, you are doing so at your maximum risk. From Boya to Bamenda, from Bamenda to Ekok, from Ekok to Mbiame, from Mbiame to Tambo, from Tambo to Miluf, from Miluf to Ngonoko, to Jindom, to Bali, and to every other place. I am ordering the shutting down of every single beer parlor because we cannot keep gambling our lives while women and children are sleeping in bushes without mattresses. And at this end of the day, we are very happy with all the actions. A recap, just to give you a recap of all the actions that took place this week. So far, we've had the killing of about 72 terrorists. And those killings happened all in Ambazonia. And because we are having these killings of terrorists in Ambazonia, please, all the carpenters, this is time to boom your businesses. Engage in the creation of or in the building of coffins, because those terrorists have to be coffined and sent back. If you're a terrorist from the Republic of La République du Cameroon, encroaching into our borders and coming to the Republic of Ambazonia, know that you should bring along your body back. Because when we kill you, we don't want your corpse or your corpses to smell everywhere and contaminate our soils. We want your corpse to be put in the body bag so that you can be sent back to La République du Cameroon. I want to congratulate everyone who has financially sustained and pushed forth the struggle to this level. It is very, very difficult to run a revolution without influence and affluence. It is very, very difficult to initiate a movement without affluence. That means it is very difficult for you to run a nation without wealth. In fact, we must pump wealth into the nation if we want to build that nation. We must engage in activities in the diaspora that will generate a sustainable income that we can push back and give back to the communities and build those communities. In fact, maybe this could be on a sideline. I have joined an organization that is doing exactly that. And now I can clearly tell you that I'm funding my boys on the ground, the Red Dragons, and those boys are doing exactly the actions we want to see. I may not be running any GoFundMe on my pages because some criminals want to sabotage the struggle on GoFundMe. And that is called Theodore Ngomba, one terrorist who is there sabotaging the struggle against me. And I saw him doing a video recently. That criminal has 3 criminal records according to public records. You can Google it online. You would go to the criminal database website, well reputed in the United States, run a background check on Theodore Ngomba. He has 3 criminal records, 2 on credit card fraud, 1 on credit card fraud and 2 on assault on his own wife or on his own family member. That is, we don't want those criminals who are standing for federation, who want to run down people who are standing for independence, who wants to push back TAPANG IVO, who took a major decision to stand for independence and who are very much afraid. At this stage, my biggest enemies are even more federalist than independence. At this stage, my biggest enemies are people who stand for unionists, as the people who stand for the union of Republic of whatever, neighboring La République du Cameroon, than even nationalists. At this stage, Theodore Ngomba, who is a unionist, he wants us to stay with La République du Cameroon by all costs, funding his radio or TV station with La République fundings, engaging in sabotage against leaders of Ambazonia. That criminal should be brought to book. That criminal should be investigated and exposed because already his records tell for itself. When you run actions and you put yourself on something called cry out radio and TV, know that you're crying out your lungs to people who have decided to save their women and children. Know that you're crying out in a desert and the sun would wipe your tears immediately. No one is going to see your tears. Cry out radio and TV stands for CRTV. Do you love CRTV? Of course not. Who loves CRTV? Cry out radio and TV. That's exactly what it stands for. We don't need people who would pump money into engaging in TV, whatever. You want to create a TV just to sabotage your leaders or just to ridicule the struggle, just to bring down the struggle. We don't need negative energy. We need positive energy. If you want to run a forum on Facebook, you want to run a forum on any part of the world concerning Ambazonia or talking for Ambazonia, you must be positive about Ambazonia. If you are not positive about Ambazonia, you have a serious maggot in your head. At this stage, even Theodore Ngomba, who comes from Bakwere, now an American citizen, that means he's not even an Ambazonian. He wants to engage in Ambazonian actions that will kill the struggle and push us towards unity. We have other people like Ben Aki and the rest. I don't want to call their names. The list is very, very, very long. Be very weary of the black legs because they are out to bring down the struggle and kill your future. We all have children. We all have families, and we want to go back to a land someday. I am a stateless citizen. I have no country. The Republic of La République du Cameroon, that imposed its colonial language on me, French, that imposed its nationality on me with a Cameroon passport, has banned and exiled me from their country. And it did not only end there. Mr. Biya has officially banned me from following his Twitter page, and he has officially banned me from even nearing his communications department at the presidency of the Republic of Cameroon, which means I stand on the dire straight, and of course, I have to fight as a stateless citizen. I have put my life at this stage on the firing line. Please, for my women and children to be killed, come and kill Tapang Ivo first. I have put myself on the firing line for the international court and everything to bring me to justice. Let me stand for the justice of my people of Ambazonia. Of course, let one person sacrifice his life for humanity, for the sake of humanity. And if it becomes Tapang Ivo, of course, so be it. And if it's Mr. Biya who wants to kill the people before he dies, it is better, as Caiaphas said in the Bible, it is better for one man to die than for the entire world to perish. Let Mr. Biya die. Let him die because he's a terrorist who has been killing women and children and yet given the forum of the Commonwealth platform to speak for human rights, the rule of law, democratic accountability, and lots more. What human rights can Mr. Biya say at the Commonwealth, recently ended Commonwealth London Summit 2018? What actions can he say? Nothing. I don't know why we still collaborate with such a regime. I don't know why the United Nations is so blind or turning a blind eye to the atrocities of the Ambazonia Republic. I don't know why exactly at this stage people are so blind not to support the Republic of Ambazonia in what they are doing. I don't know what crime it is to stand for nationalism. I don't know what crime it is to support our prisoners in jail. The consortium, just to let you know, there is a fake consortium running in America, and anyone who is running behind that consortium is doing so at his or her own maximum risk. They forged my signature and put it on a bank account. They forged everything about me to put it on a bank account. Neither am I part of it, neither is Mark part of it. We disowned, and we disowned being the president of the consortium ever since we were dismissed by Tasang and crew in Nigeria. We stood as individual and independent fighters, and that is what we are still standing till today. I am not running behind money, neither is money running behind me. I am an independent fighter. I am the general of everybody in the Republic of Ambazonia. I am talking especially to the refugees who are looking up to me in particular, and every other leader in general, to come back home. We shall decide when our refugees should come back home. We shall effectively decide. At this stage, the refugees are more secured where they are. Do not listen to La République du Cameroon because they want to kill the youths, the boys below 30. And that's why they're asking the refugees to come back home, or the villagers who are in bushes to return to their homes. No one must return to their homes. Do you know why they're asking the villagers to return? because those people are in the bushes mounting a guerrilla tactic, and that is killing those soldiers in drone. Only this few days, that means the start of this week, 72 terrorists were killed. And all these attacks were hit and run. They were launched from the bushes. And that is why they want you to come back home in the open so that they can quarantine you and they can effectively track your activities. Do not come back home. Run back into the bushes. Build your tents into the bushes, because those people are afraid to go back into the bushes and fish you out. Your most secured heavens in this struggle are the bushes. Your most secure heavens in this struggle are Nigeria, in Ikom, where the refugees are hosted. Wait for our orders and we shall tell you exactly when to come back home. For now, flee into the bushes, because even the chiefs and fawns have fled their own palaces. They have fled because we are looking for their heads. We are looking for the heads of those terrorists to chop them off. Those terrorists, of course, we cannot accept terrorism in the 21st century. We shall bring those heads to justice, pull them to the courts, and they shall be tried and they shall face the law accordingly. We are not here to negotiate our independence. We are here to take the independence by force. At this stage, even negotiation does not count. At this stage, even dialogue is not on the table. We are not negotiating our independence. Negotiating means we are bargaining our independence. I don't want to bargain my freedom. Do you want to bargain your freedom? No. So the word negotiating our independence must be brushed off the map. We are not negotiating our independence. We are taking back our independence. We are not dialoguing for our freedom. We are taking back our dialogue. So at this stage, the word negotiation is logically dubious and empirically flawed. At this stage, we are here to seize back what rightfully belongs to us. At this stage, we are here to take full control of our actions. And at this stage, we are here to push back all terrorists. Yannick is with me. He'll be joining me shortly. And of course, he'll be quizzing me on the key issues, on a keynote addressed to the people of Ambazonia. At this stage, if you've never ever been interested in the struggle, please buy some popcorn, sit down and watch the actors fight. Some people have been saying Ivo should go down to the ground and fight. For the past 2 weeks, I was on the ground. Within my 30 days of blockage, I was on the ground for 2 weeks. And I mobilized my boys and I put them in order and I told them to respect human rights. That is what all groups should do. Respect of human rights is completely acceptable in this struggle. Inasmuch as we are pushing back the terrorists, we are here to protect two key people and two groups. One, women, and two, children. Our boys fully respect women and they fully respect children. Do not use children as child soldiers. It is completely acceptable. When you are recruiting and enlisting children or enlisting boys into the army, screen for the ages. They must not be recruited if they are below 18 or 17. They must not be recruited. Everyone who is fighting in Ambazonia should be above the age of 18. That is the military age of Ambazonia. Our women and children are watching us and supporting us hugely. In fact, recently we ran a poll and 96% of Ambazonians said they want Ambazonian military to protect their women and children. The poll is still available online for public view. So at the end of the day, our women and children have sent me congratulations messages saying for the first time in 57 years, they feel more secure in the hands of the general. Of course, this is the youngest general on the planet. And of course, this is the general who has rolled out tactics against the 64 generals in the Republic of Ambazonia. At this stage, we want one logical head than having 64 illogical and empty heads. Those generals are all drooling. Their spit is running down from their mouth in the Republic of Ambazonia. They are all above 70 years, and I don't understand how a 70-year-old guy can fight a young guy in his 30s or in his 20s or youth in their 40s in this 21st century. It is completely impossible. My fellow brothers and sisters, fellow comrades, Ambazonians, women and children, I want to again once more say with all confidence, that if we have never won, we will not be here to show our faces. If we've always lost our game, we will not be here to show our faces. Only victors show their faces in public. People who are losing hide their faces. It's like your kid, when he comes back from school and he has not succeeded in his exam, he goes to the room secretly to hide. When your kid succeeds in his exam, he's so glad to share his results, and he's the one jumping all over the place in the house. We are jumping all over the place because we are succeeding. When last did you see La Republique show its face to talk to the public? Because they are afraid and they are so shameful of their lose. So Chiroma Bakari has been even dismissed, as we hear, and Mr. Chiroma Bakari is currently walking on crutches. He just recently recovered from the musong we kept under his carpet, but we'll look for something even more dangerous to feed him with. If you are always winning, you will always be on the social media to show your face, and you are joyful about it. Everyone who is watching me right now is so joyful because we are winning. The Franco-Frogs or the Franco-Fools are the ones who are running behind us to say, Ivo, you should be blocked. Why are you coming again? Why are you coming again? Because they understand that we are all winning. If the Franco-Frogs are very wise, they will concentrate to take out their terrorist leader, Mr. Paul Biya. They are now asking me for asylum documents. Those Francophones, of all people. We've had Mr. Cometa Elvis, the national president of SCNC North America, openly testify that Francophones have been coming to ask for SCNC asylum, whatever tactics, Ambazonian Ambazonian passports, because they want to apply for asylum in the United States. And these are the Francophones who are not supporting us. These are the Francophones who are against us, but yet coming to SCNC, the Southern Cameroons National Congress, to ask for passports, claiming that they are also politically haunted by Mr. Paul Biya. If they are very wise, they will join us at this stage. They will join us to decry the killings of our women and children. If they are very smart, they will join us to decry hugely the marginalization of their neighbors, Ambazonia. We are not part of Francophones, know that. If you're working in the Republic of La République du Cameroon, know that you're working as an expatriate, and we're expecting that you send money back home, just like we're also sending money back home. Some people have been very keen to say, if you're a general, come down to the field and fight. I only fight with my own level, and my level is Mr. Biya. My boys are fighting with Mr. Biya's boys. The general does not fight with children. The general fights with those people at the top. The day I shall see a neighboring La République du Cameroon general or their president, not the minister, I fight only with their generals and their presidents. The day I shall see the president of La République du Cameroon, Mr. Paul Biya, and his general go down to the field, that is the day I shall also go down to the field. And until then, I don't fight with little boys. Already my boys are doing a good job, and they're following my orders, and they're killing those terrorists. So I fight only with Mr. Biya because that is my level. That is where I am. I don't fight with low-class illiterates, boys who have never gone to school, and the rest. At this stage, if you're respecting anything from La République, you're fighting or you're doing so at your maximum risk. 20th May is coming. I heard my brother Mark Barata talk about 20th May. 20th May is a day of national mourning. It is a day where we shall wear black. It is the day we have officially declared in Cameroon, and last year when we were consortium leaders, we officially declared a ban on 20th May. 20th May is a day we must not and we must never celebrate. 20th May is a day where we shall wear black, everyone, women and children. It's a day of national mourning until thy kingdom come. It is a day where we shall cry and we shall mourn for the dead. It's a day where we shall cry for the woman, Mama Api, whose bones were sticking out like a rabbit, burnt in our own home, and had a sorrowful retirement. It is a day where we shall regret the shattering of the little girl's face, my own sister. That was my sister's whose face was ripped off. From that day, I declared and I openly said, it is better for me to come out in the public and expose myself as the leader, as the commander, as the general of the Red Dragons, rather than hiding when my sister's face has been cut off and ripped off. As I speak, she is even saying she wants to die. She cannot speak. She is saying she wants to die. That is exactly the fate of that little girl right now. That she wants to die. That is what she's asking. She has been indicating with signs. She takes her hand and she makes like this, that she wants to die. And because she has no face, how do you expect her to live? If you have a conscience, and Francophones, if you have a conscience, you will put that girl's face and protest in Yaounde. If you have a conscience, you will do that. If you have a conscience, you will not stand against me to fight against Tapang Ivo. You will go and fight against the person who ripped off the face of that your neighbor. That is criminal. That is barbaric. That is atrocious. And that is ludicrous. And it is unacceptable. It is obnoxious. We shall not accept that kind of a thing again in the Republic of Ambazonia. As long as our people continue to sleep in bushes, let me warn you, anyone who is in Yaounde and Douala, we are following everyone who is in those houses in Yaounde and Douala to also sleep in bushes. Because we have successfully mapped out where the terrorists are living. Do you accept terrorists to live in communities? Of course not. So we exactly know where the terrorists are living in Yaounde and Douala, and we are going into those neighborhoods to fish them out and burn those houses. We shall burn several houses in the Republic of du Cameroon, because those houses are hosting terrorists. We have established facts that they are hosting terrorists. And if you are living in Yaounde and Douala and you see your neighbor's house going down, please don't go quick to quench it because there's no water flowing from the taps. That is exactly the country you live in. There is no fire department also, and that is exactly the country you live in. So you do me, I do you, and this is the law of reciprocity. You do unto others what you want others to do unto you. So expect a surge in refugee population in the days ahead in Yaounde and Douala, and expect them to be licking their own wounds. That is exactly what we shall do. If you burn a home in La République du Cameroun, great. And if you burn a home anywhere in La République du Cameroun, we fully support you if you're burning a home of a terrorist. And make sure you burn only the homes of terrorists. If you spot a terrorist, do exactly that. And that is what we shall be feeling as pinches. And this is exactly where the landlords are coming. The landlords have been milking hugely from the Republic of Ambazonia. The landlords have been the ones making everybody very sad. Those students who are all in schooling in Bambeli and the rest are all being sheltered by dubious landlords. Those landlords should start packing their bags out of Ambazonia. If you are also a house owner, don't host any terrorists in uniforms. We don't want any La République terrorists to be in our homes. Evict them. At this stage, all the terrorists are even afraid to go to work with their uniforms. So they are disguising themselves and going to work. At this stage, we don't accept that. So right now, we are fishing all those terrorists who are living in our homes we built with our money and money sent by Anglophones who are on exile. Anyone who has a home in Ambazonia should know that you contributed or you constructed that home because you were on exile. You were in America working money or in Europe, and no Francophone or no terrorist should sleep in your home when your women and children are dying in bushes. If you also own a home in Yaounde and Douala, evict every Francophone out from it. Evict them. And if you don't, know that your home will be visited. And if your home is visited, please welcome our visitors. And if they come with a viper in their back, please welcome them. So right now we'll be speaking with Yannick. Yannick is a great guy, a guy who has been very keen on the struggle, mobilizing communities here and there, and he has been very active even abroad. So Yannick will be joining me soon. We'll talk briefly and we can take a few questions.
Talk about how desperate which way to go and kidnap the Max mother.
Of course, yes. Yannick is asking me to tell you how desperate the La République soldiers were to kidnap Max's mother. You know what? When they kidnapped Max's mother, I knew my mother too will be next. And that was the most silly action that was ever taken. Because how can you, as a La République known for terrorism, go out there and publicly kidnap? When you are kidnapping somebody, it's done in silence. It's never done in public. And anything that happens to any mother or any sister or any brother of any key revolutionary leader we shall know it is La Republique's action. And that is why they hurriedly, after I passed the 72-hour ultimatum to release Mark's mother, because the reign of hell that will be released in Yaounde and Douala would be untold. It was a desperate move. Mark, that mother has several children. Mark is the only of her children who is out there fighting for independence, and the rest, of course, Mark is covering for every of his sister and brother. So why would you go out there to arrest Mark? Why are you punishing Mark's mother? Why are you punishing the other children of that mother? Why are you doing so? And is the woman also involved? Have you ever seen her face in the struggle? Of course not. Why don't you go and arrest men? Why don't you go and face Mark's father or whatever? Why do you go for his mother? And that is exactly the kind of regime we are in. They keep targeting women and children. They keep targeting the weaker gender and the weaker group. That's exactly the kind of regime we are with. And that is exactly what our red dragons, the tigers, and all of those hate. And they know the repercussions of their actions, and that is why they quickly morphed to a point where they released the lady, even though without any questioning. Luckily enough, we did not find any bruises on her skin. We found nothing as torture, but of course we found psychological torture. The mother should be well supported and protected. The mothers and children, the mothers and brothers and sisters of every revolutionary fighter should be well protected. Because of course, those fighters have put their faces out there for you, and those fighters are bringing the independence of Ambazonia closer than you ever thought of.
So, General.
And at this stage, there is something we call the baby boomer generation. At the point where we were youths, our parents were all in the government working. Right now, at the point where we're supposed to be working, they are still working. What do you expect the youths to do? And this is why every youth is part of the struggle. When we were kids, we needed toys. And at some point when we grew up from toys, we wanted education. We all went to school. Now we want homes, we want to build, we want cars, and we want all of those, but we cannot get it. And that is exactly why we are protesting, because we have generational needs. And at this point, our parents were also working in the past 20 years or 25 years. They all want to retire. Basically, they have denied to retire, and that is why they are still sitting in government. But the youths all want cars. Me, I want a car, I want a home, I want this, and that is exactly my needs. I don't want education anymore. I don't want toys. I'm no longer that kid. And because I want cars, I want this, I want a job. And if I cannot get a job, it basically means that my needs are not wanted. If I cannot get my freedom, it basically means my generational need is not granted. And that is why we are fighting. All those parents who are still working in government should retire and should leave from the Republic of La Republique du Cameroon and come back to the Republic of Ambazonia. If you are above 60 and you're still in government, know that you are on a high risk. You are maxing out your risks. So if you are above 55, the earlier you retire, the better, because our boys are coming after you. You'll be forcefully retired, and you will give those positions to our boys and girls to fill in. We've seen a list of La Republique du Cameroon terrorists that have been put out as successful candidates into a concours. Menge, and the rest. Where have you found any name of any Ambazonia on it? Nothing. So we shall forcefully retire everyone who is forcefully staying in government, and we shall forcefully send back anyone who is not standing for the Republic of Ambazonia. Any leader who comes to the public must have credibility and trust. We don't want leaders with criminal records. 2, on assault against their own family members, probably their wives. And 1 on credit card fraud, the worst crime ever in the world history. Credit card fraud, a biggest crime in the 21st century. And you have the guts to come and do a video, a TV, to talk against Ivo and Mr. Theodore. You have the guts to show your face after you were jailed 3 times in the United States to talk against Ivo. Ivo's record is as clean as a clean slate. And that is why Ivo, they want to bring me down by all costs, but they shall not succeed. As long as I have the people of Ambazonia behind me, no one shall bring me down, and no one shall ever dent my image. It will never, ever work.